Happy Friday to you, friends. Made it through another work week. It's good to be with you, even if it is virtual. Well, for our passage this morning, it's a passage full of gratitude. What at least I think should cause great gratitude in us. We're going to look at the love of God for us, and then some of the things that results in for us. And so I hope that this really short devotional wells up in us some gratitude. Let me read the passage. It's the last couple of verses of chapter 3, and then we'll read the last couple of verses of chapter 2, and then we'll read the first 3 verses of chapter 3. Starting in chapter 2, verse 28. And now, little children, abide in him, so that when he appears, we may have confidence and not shrink from him in shame at his coming. If you know that he is righteous, you may be sure that everyone who practices righteousness has been born of him. See what kind of love the Father has given to us, that we should be called children of God. And so we are. The reason why the world does not know us is that it did not know him. Beloved, we are God's children now, and what we will be has not yet appeared. But we know that when he appears, we shall be like him, because we shall see him as he is. And everyone who thus hopes in him purifies himself as he is pure. Verse 1 of chapter 3 says that God has made us his very own children by his love. And I think that concept, God's tremendous love for us, is what makes sense of the rest of this passage. This is a love that God has for us, even knowing all of our warts, knowing all of our sin, all of our anxiety, all the things that we're carrying with us right now, the things that we're running to right now in this time of uncertainty. He knows all of that. He's always known all of that. Yet he still made us his children purely out of his love for us. It is absolutely mind-boggling. But now think about this passage. What are some of the ramifications for God's love for us? Well, one, it means we can actually abide in him and abide in his son Jesus, which gives us confidence. And not anxiety thinking when Jesus comes again. We can have confidence before him because God has made us his own. A second ramification there is in verse 29. Now that we are God's own, that means now we live a little bit differently. We're able and free to pursue holiness because God has made us his children. Ramification number 3. We get to be like Jesus in Jesus' moral purity as Jesus comes back. It's not something we can conjure up ourselves. We can't just force it or manufacture it. But because God has made us his children, we now will be like Jesus in moral purity. And then there's at least one more. It's the last one. When Jesus comes again, we are going to see him as he is in reality. So God tells us that we are his children, and John then says that is actually who we are in reality. And now we read that when Jesus comes again, we're going to see him as he is in reality. These are gifts that God has given to us purely by his sovereign grace, making us his children. That is the depth of the love of God for us. Let that well up in you into gratitude. I hope that colors the way that we live our life today. This gratitude for the love that God has given us to make us his own.